Okay, so we are going to continue. After measure of relative position, we also have the measure of relative variation. And then for measure of relative variation, I can introduce you to one of the measure of relative variation, which is the coefficient of variation. So, ano yung difference ng ating coefficient of variation with the usual variance and standard deviation? They are still both going to determine the spread of the data, but in terms of our standard deviation and variance, it will only compare two standard deviations with the same SI unit. So kung meters yung ating SI unit, you can only compare it with a standard deviation with meters then yung SI unit. But our coefficient of variation will allow you to compare standard deviation with the units nga different or when the units are different. Like for example, for a case wherein yung isang data set one mo is in terms of teaching experience tapos yung data set mo is in terms of net take home pay. As you can see sa teaching experience, this is measured in years while our data set to yung net take home pay is measured in pesos. So basically they have different SI units, but we can still compare both or test if saan yung mas spread out by using coefficient of variation formula. So basically, ito yung formula niya, and of course, it would be different in terms of the samples and population. So kung for samples ka, that would be C var is equal to S divided by X bar times 100%. As you can notice, we make use of the formula, the notations for sample, standard deviation, and then sample mean. While for our population, that would be C var is equal to sigma divided by mu times 100%. So, let's try to apply this formula doon sa ating example so that we can illustrate as to how we make use of the formula. So, basically, ibinigay na kaagad yung ating standard deviation tsaka mean. So, yung atin na lang gagawin is to calculate for its CVAR. But there would be cases in which nga wala siyang mean tsaka standard deviation. So, what you're going to use is gonna be the mean for our raw data which is summation of x divided by n. Tapos, yung ating standard deviation for raw data, which is kung sample standard deviation yan, the BS is equal to the square root of the summation of x minus x bar squared divided by n. So, to give you an example na para hindi tayo medyo ma-confuse kung how to use those formulas, baka nakalimutan mo na. Let's try to do yung data set 1. Okay, let me do that. Let me just crop up this portion right here and then transfer it to the to another page. So ito, diba, ito yung formula, and then if you make use of that, if you want to get the mean, that is x bar times the summation of x divided by n. So yung summation of x there is just basically adding up all of these values on the data set. So that is 23, 27, 19 plus 25 plus 29 plus 21. So that is 23 plus 27 plus 19 plus 25 plus 29 plus 21. And then you divide it with how many data are there, which is basically just 6, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you do that, okay, let's try to use the calculator. That is 23 plus 27 plus 19 plus 25 plus 19 plus 25 19 plus 25 plus 29 plus 21 plus 29 plus 21, which is 144 divided by 6. So 144 divided by 6 is what? 144 divided by 6 is 24. So basically, that's our mean. That's why dito, yung mean natin is 24 years. And then, for our standard deviation, yung ginagawa natin is that that's gonna be the square root of the summation of your x minus x bar squared divided by n. So, what I usually do is kinukuha ko muna yung ating mga differences of your x minus your x bar, or the mean and our square or our data. So that would be, for that case, 23 minus 24 is going to be negative 1. So that's negative 1 squared, plus 27 minus 24 is going to be 3 squared, plus 19 minus 24. So that's 19 minus 24 is going to be a 5, negative 5, negative 5 squared, plus 25 minus 24, that's 1 squared, plus 29 minus 24, that is 5 squared as well, plus 21 minus 24 is negative 3 squared, divided by our 6. N minus 1 pala tayo, guys. Kasi, not sample standard deviation. We just do divided by n when it's gonna be a population. So, n minus 1 tayo, 6 minus 1. So, that's gonna be 5. And then, the square root of 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 25, plus 1, plus 25, plus 9, divided by 5. So 1 plus 9 plus 25, 1 plus 9 plus 25, plus 1 plus 25, plus 1 plus 25, plus 9 is gonna be 70. So 70 tayo dyan. 70 square root of 70 divided by 2. 70 divided by 2, if you use a calculator, that will be dividing it by 2, and then square mo siya. So, 70 divided by 2, not divided by 2. What do I mean divided by 2? Divided by 5. Sorry about that one. 70 divided by 5. 14. And then, that's gonna be 3.74. So that is 3.74 2 years for our standard deviation. So as you can see, yun yung arrive natin. Ganun mag-calculate ng ating standard deviation tsaka yung ating mean. You do the same thing for data set 2, and then you would arrive with the same mean and the same standard deviation. So going back now with our data set, presuming na ibinigay na yung ating mga calculated values, we just have to substitute. Now, for our C var of the data set 1, that would be C var is equal to S, which is going to be 3.742 divided by 24, and then you times it 100% with 100%. So 3.742 divided by 24 is going to be 0.155. Basically, it's non-terminating. You just multiply it by 100. That's going to be 15.59 or 15.592. So that's going to be 15.592%. And then for our C var for the second data set, that would be dividing 2,267.984 pesos divided by 8,875, which is our mean. And then you multiply it by 100%. Do not forget about that one. See, it's measured in percentage. So that's going to be 2267.984. Oh, no. 2267.984. 2267.984 divided by 2267.984 divided by 8875. 8875, and then you times it with 100%, that would be 25.55. That's 25.55 5 555 times 100 times 100 times 100, I mean not times 100%, 25.555%. So as you can see, mas malaki yung ating coefficient of variation sa na take home pay kaysa sa ating coefficient of variation in years or in teaching experience in years. So that's basically mean na more scattered yung ating net take home pay, yung data niya with respect to the mean than the years of teaching experience of the teachers. Okay? So, ganun siya i-interpret. And then, let's have another example. So, basically, this one is you are going to also calculate for the CVAR. So, that's the mean of the number of sales of cars over a 3-month period is 87 and the standard deviation is 5. The mean of the commissions is 261,250 and the standard deviation is 38,650. So, you have to compare the variations of the two. So, as you can see, magkaiba yung ating SI units. So, let's try to do the number of sales muna. So, that is 87 for the mean. So, in any problem, in any word problems, you have to make use of the given always. So, that is X bar is going to be 87. So, that's number of sales. And then, our standard deviation is 5. Tapos, yung isa naman is, yung isang mean niya is gonna be 261,250. Tapos, yung kanyang standard deviation is gonna be 38,650. So, you just compare both. So, you have to calculate for both of the values. So, that's gonna be C var um, standard deviation divided by the mean times 100%. So S here is going to be 5 divided by 87 times 100%. Tapos 5 divided by 87 ka lang. 5 divided by 87 times 100% is 5.747. So that's 5.747%. Tapos yung isa naman for CVAR, that is S divided by mean times 100%, and that is 38,650 divided by 261,250 times 100%. So let's start off with 38,650 now. 50 divided by 261,250 times 100%, that is 14.79 for 14.79 percent. So as you can see, mas malaki yung ating percentage sa ating commissions compared to our number of sales. So, meaning, more variable yung ating commissions than the sales, or mas spread out yung data natin sa ating commissions compared to our number of sales. Okay? As you can see na compare natin even though they have different SI units. So basically, same lang din yung gagawin nyo sa example na to. I'd like you to work on this one as an exercise instead. And then, I'm going to give you an activity for those na nauna na. I have classes wherein nauna nahira. Tapos nahirahan measures of relative position. I'd just like you to work on instead na lang sa ating standard scores tapos sa ating coefficient of variation for the meantime. And then, we are going to discuss for the next topic na lang face-to-face. Okay? And also, baka mag-add-ons na lang ako doon sa measures of relative position. I think that's all for now. Goodbye.